Senators are holding a hearing today on that spy balloon that came from China.
That's right. Both the Senate and the House are also being briefed on the aircraft. This is after it was shot down by U.S. officials over the weekend. The Defense Appropriations Subcommittee is demanding answers from Biden administration officials on what happened here and the steps being taken to protect national security. That committee is led by Democratic Senator Jon Tester. He represents the state of Montana. That is one of the several states the balloon flew over before being shot down Saturday over the Carolina coastline.
Joining us now for more on this is CBS News correspondent Christina Ruffini. Christina, the State Department has released new information on the Chinese government's balloon surveillance program. What have we learned both about what these balloons are capable of and what goes into making them?
Yeah, so we heard from a senior State Department official this morning, and we learned a couple things. First of all, they said these balloons have flown over 40 countries around the world that they know of. They also said they're manufactured by a company that actually advertises on its website some of the previous flyover flights, and they have pictures. And the State Department says they can tell from those pictures that they've been flying over the United States. So the State Department has said they're looking into action against the manufacturing company. Obviously, they've lodged their displeasure with China itself. And they're reaching out to other countries, other places where they know these balloons have been used. The State Department says, look, we're not, we can look at this balloon and tell you what it is. This is not consistent with scientific material. This is not consistent with a weather balloon, which is what the Chinese government has said. They said they regretted that it strayed off course. And the U.S. government has said this was an intelligence gathering device, and they're going after the people who manufactured it.
And that's what's fascinating about this, Christina. As you mentioned, the Biden administration had been reaching out to other countries that this balloon, other balloons, had flown over. But Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin tells CBS News when he spoke to David Martin that when this incident took place, he tried to call China and that call was not accepted. What can you tell us about just this incident and some of the retaliatory actions the U.S. may be exploring now?
Right. They basically left his text message on read, which is not what you want from the two biggest superpowers. There's been a long-standing debate about needing, streamlined communications, a red phone, if you think of like the Soviet era, so that these leaders can talk to each other. And they do have that channel. So that's why it was all the more significant that he couldn't get a hold of his counterpart. Keep in mind, this also happened less than 24 hours before Secretary of State Blinken was supposed to take off for this high-profile meeting in China that had been planning in the works for months, that both governments, Xi Jinping and President Biden, said they wanted to take place. So there's a couple of things we still need to sort out here. The timing of this is odd, right? Why would you launch this balloon and have it so visible and be at an altitude that people can see with the naked eye right ahead of this this summit? What exactly were they able to get from this device? The U.S. government has said it disabled its intelligence gathering operations, which is why it was allowed to keep floating its way across America. But did it get anything beforehand? And there's this other argument that it may not be so much what the balloon itself was able to gather, so much as the Chinese were studying the U.S. response to something like this, right? They were studying, would it be shot down immediately? Would they let it keep going? They were watching the military scramble or not scramble, watching leaders and how they decided to respond. So I think this is going to be a longer story in the days and weeks to come, and we're going to have to see how all of this comes out and what we hear, both from the White House, from the Chinese, and from the State Department.
And, we made light of it, but Christina, it is quite relevant if China leaves the U.S. Defense Secretary on red, as you said. I mean, that says quite a lot. Christina Ruffini, thank you very much. We'll be sure to see you again soon.
Thank you, guys.